Oh, yeah. Round two. Round two at the beautiful Enmore Theater is going to be longer, harder, and meaner than the last time around last night. I can hardly wait. Okay, first off, the preliminary, mandatory, thanking you so kindly for showing up tonight and last night. Those of you who came last night and are coming back for another verbal shellacking. I admire your intestinal fortitude, your bravery. Some of you are just fucking sick to keep on coming back. And I don't know what that makes me for coming back. Sucker. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Okay, now, I've been back there in my little dressing room, my little cubicle, pacing back and forth, listening to one of my eclectic mix CDs, listening to the real good shit. Cab Calloway, into Earth, Wind, and Fire, into Link Wray, into Slayer, into Benny, King and the Drifters. It just, got to keep it eclectic, got to keep it lean. And the more I was pacing back and forth, just the more and more pissed off I was getting. And I realized I'm a psychopath. And so, you know when a rocket ship or an airplane takes off, they burn all that extra fuel so they can get up to the higher altitude so they can burn less and be more efficient? Okay, so I will need about 3 or 4 hours to burn off all the fuel so I can burn a little bit more efficiently. So now we'll start with all the accumulated fucking bile that has been building up in me since I watched a little bit of television about 3 or 4 hours ago, which just fucking infuriates me every single time I'm stupid enough to watch mainstream television. And if you have an intellect, if you have a shred of credibility, you watch daytime TV and you're like, fuck, I want to kill them all! And that's the mood that shit puts me in. So, without any further warning, here comes the vial. Here comes the mean, ugly venom that's gonna come forth. Okay, first off, what's her name? That fucking fascist bitch. Okay, Ms. Hansen, they're trying to give her a makeover, okay? They're trying to make this psychotic Nazi slut look good. And she keeps saying, oh, it's not a career move, it's not a move to get more votes. Fuck you, man. What they should have done is not dress her hair up and show her shoulders. They should have took a fucking belt sander and smoothed that craggy fucking face of hers. You know what she looks like? She looks like a fucking male trainee working the King's Cross. That's what she looks like. She looks like some fucking guy named Ed. Some dude in a dress who sucks dick for 50 Australian. And you know what? That's a little blunt, that's a little mean. It also happens to be true. Fuck fascists. Fuck her. I can't stand that shit. She's like, well, I'm gonna stand up for my beliefs. I wish she'd let her hair grow out. She said in Women's Day magazine, she confessed that her hair is usually a mousy brown when she doesn't dye it fucking flaming Nazi red. I just hate anybody who just runs for office, and I have these really fucked opinions and I'm sticking to them. Why do people let this chick fucking breathe? Why don't you use her as shark bait? No, even funner. We could have more fun. Why don't you must have a Sea World, one of those places where little kids gather around the water and watch the killer whale hop out of the water and grab the fish. Why don't you throw the bitch in the fucking tank? And make her do 3 shows a day at Sea World and delight children from all over the world. Why don't you? Anyway, so I saw her and she makes me very angry. God, oh man, I can't believe that. Well, you know, it's all about that freedom. And freedom is really lame. Have you noticed that cowards hide behind freedom? It's sluts like her that make everyday living such a drag. You know, because I think Australia is a beautiful, amazing, wild rock and roll country. You know, and I think first off, you should, whatever money you have left that has the Queen on it, get a new printer. Get the fucking Queen off your money, man. Fuck the Queen. Fuck England. You guys haven't paid enough in blood and sweat and tears and misery to have your own country. break off all ties. Trade with them like they're any other country. But do not have the fucking Union Jack on your flag. Just fucking do your own thing. You have some of the best real estate in the entire world. I know why they call your country the lucky country. Because you are blessed. You have wonderful, clean, sandy shores. And you have beautiful rainforests and beautiful desert and all kinds of fucking awesome reptiles that'll kill ya. Okay, and another thing, starting tonight at 7 p.m. was Big Brother, okay? Now, they don't let me be a TV producer because I'd have too much fucking fun. I'd ruin everything. Okay, so what you have with Big Brother are 15 really groovy-looking MTV wannabes. There's like Dread Boy, and there's Hot Chick, and her boyfriend's telling the camera, well, she's a makeup artist, and she'll take 59 minutes out of the possible 60 of shower water every day. Aren't they a cute little bunch? Here's what I would do if I was organizing the cast for Big Brother. I'd have 5 gnarly, hardcore hookers from the cross, 2 paraplegics, 1 guy with advanced Tourette's syndrome, and a bunch of psycho, bitter old pensioners. Now throw all those people in, close all the doors, turn the cameras on, and then we'll have something. Ooh, the smell, the bitterness, the arguments. That would be some shit. But instead, all you're gonna get is some softcore porn. You're gonna get a little youth titty. You're gonna get some bathroom shots. Oh, she's sitting on the pot. I wonder what she's doing. You sick fucks, okay? How about if we all just boycott that show? No one watch and just advertise to the Australian television, whoever, the commission or whatever, that we all have better things to do with our time. Just don't watch it. Don't show up. Don't eat at a McDonald's. Don't show up for shitty food. Don't watch Ally McBeal. Do better things with your time. Show these people that you're not a bunch of dumb fucks. You know, that's me. I would just boycott all the time. No cigarettes, no tobacco, no alcohol, none of this poison, no mediocre culture, all this shit. And it just disgusts me. Another thing you must hate Americans for, one of the myriad things you must hate Americans for. I am so embarrassed sometimes to be an American and be in a beautiful country like yours because I know I have so much to answer for, okay? And you guys are so low down on the fucking food chain of infractions to the world. You're a really groovy place. You have little fascists like Pauline Hanson, but you know, we have little fascists all over the world. But America, okay, we're polluting your country. We have this show, Survivor. #1 country, #1 song, #1 television show in America, knocking ER off the top of the mountain. A bunch of hot-looking girls and boys in the middle of Australia dealing with a bunch of snakes and each other's vile money lust. Okay, they should have changed the show to Surviving Henry and let me just be the interloper and run like Vietnam PSYOP mindfuck games on all of them. I'd put them through an Apocalypse Now ringer. I'd be like Colonel Kurtz on steroids. Every morning there'd be a new head from a stick. I'd threaten every male survivor with rape. I'd walk in, and they wouldn't even know where I'm coming from. I'd be out in the bush at night. I'd come in during the day. Hey, fucker. You're not in the cast. Shut up, fucker. I'm gonna rape you. What do you think of that? I'm gonna rape you. I don't want the women. I want you, fuckhead. You're the Lord of the Flies. I'm the fucking daddy around here now. Survive me, motherfucker. There'd be some real television worth watching. But I never get my way. I come up with all kinds of ideas. Ooh, I have an idea. Shut up, Henry. Shut up, Henry. I had all kinds of good ideas. Like in America, we had the $40 million witch trial to bust a president for getting a blowjob underneath a desk in the Oval Office, something bosses do to their weaker under employees every single day in every company, Warner Brothers, IBM, everywhere it happens. But we had a president who did it, and it cost like $40 million plus just to go, you're a bad boy. You know, they should have just sicked Hillary on him. Get Hillary naked and just go, come here, Bill, for a day and a half. Come on, let's go. And that would have been punishment enough. Apply yourself to this. No, okay? I had an idea. I wanted to bring in the guy from Singapore who beat that kid's little butt with a switch a couple of years ago for graffitiing the car. Bring him in, tie up Bill's naked ass on the front lawn of the White House, and watch all the Republicans around in a big circle jerk as that guy caned the shit out of Bill Clinton's little ass. And put it on pay-per-view, make a video of it, give the video proceeds to charity. Bill be in the hospital for a week and a half with a sore ass, be in recovery for a while. He'd get back to doing the president thing. The whole thing would have cost us about $0.75 million. And we could have used the rest of the money for something like education, curing AIDS, doing something really groovy instead of being all vindictive and full of shit. I'm getting past the bile now. I'm kind of evening out. But this makes me angry, and I get mad at my own country, and I get mad at all kinds of stuff. The same kind of stuff you all get mad at. I mean, you don't look at an idiot like Pauline Hanson and go, oh, well, she's great. You're pissed off, too. People shouldn't be like that. And I saw today on the news, there's a guy who got an incorrect diagnosis from a doctor. He went in with a back problem. The guy went, oh, you got cancer, you got 2 years to live. The guy's like, he sold his house, he gave away his possessions, he's living in some government-subsidized tenement home waiting for death. And he goes back and he gets another diagnosis. They go, who the fuck told you you have cancer? You're fine. You have a bad back. They gave him like $124,000 compensation. Okay, now we've just given hundreds of thousands of dollars to POWs who were locked up in Japan during the war. Cool. Your prime minister won't even say sorry to the Aborigines. How fucking lopsided and lame is that? Money, 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 money. Sorry. Nope. No. Fuck. That kind of stuff makes me so fucking mad. And there's this piece of shit Navy captain in his submarine tooling around under the water, showing off his big fucking submarine cock, his underwater cock to VIP guests. He makes an abrupt boom surface. He wipes out 9 Japanese people. You know what the U.S. Navy did to him today? They gave him a slap on the hand. He doesn't have to retire until October. He will do no jail time. You know what that is? Anywhere else in the world is called vehicular manslaughter. And if you were in your car and you knocked out a car full of little kids and killed them, you'd be doing time. You'd be doing a lot of time, and you should be doing a lot of time. And just because he wasn't drunk, just because he's in the Navy, he gets off. And this just makes me scathingly angry. Like a couple of years ago, those hot-rodding Top Gun fuckheads are buzzing, ski lifts in Switzerland, and they wipe out a whole bunch of people. Nothing happened. They killed people, and nothing happens. Motherfuckers get away with shit all the time, and nothing happens. And I get madder and madder and madder. And that's what happens when you get old. Okay? And that's what I am. I'm old. I'm 40. Okay? And so now it's time for me to get very gray in the hair. You see, I don't dye my hair. I'm just letting it go really gray. And now it's time for me to be an angry old man. And you all have to let me slide. You have to let me get away with it because I'm old and infirm. I'm like Ronald Reagan now, getting more of my applesauce on my bib than in my mouth. So I get to say any fucking thing I want. And you have to go like, okay. Oh, he's a little angry, isn't he? Okay, did you see the cover of Drum Media today? I got to be on a cover with Nick Cave, one of my super duper heroes. I get the little photo. He gets the big photo. I guess because he's so much proportionally taller than I am. And he's one of my many Australian heroes, and probably one of my favorite vocalists in the whole world. And I've never really talked about that guy to an audience. I worship Nick Cave ever since I'm like 40, right? Fuck it, let's just say I'm 50. I've been into Nick Cave since I was like 19 or 20 years old when I first heard Release the Bats. I'm like, what the fuck was that? How cool. And I was all over that guy. And then right around the early part of 1983, the birthday party rumbled through LA, and I had no money. And I scrimped and I saved and I bought myself a birthday party, show ticket for the first of 2 sets at a place called the Roxy, January, February, March 30th, 1983. And there I'm in line with this girl I was going out with who really didn't want to go to the show. It's like, I don't want to go. What the fuck is the matter with you chicks, man? It's a fucking birthday party. But you know how us guys are. We want to get laid. We want to get laid. So we'll put up with your fucking ass. I don't want to see the birthday party. I'm like, pussy, after the show, I'll go along with it. So anyway, we go in there and we bravely go right up to the front, and I'm hoping the birthday party is just gonna come out there and rip my head off. And right on time, the band comes on stage, and there's Tracy Pugh with his like drunken eyes rolled up in his head thing. He puts the bass right on top of his cock and just plays the whole night, just like. And there's Roland Howard over there being all insane. He looks like he's afflicted, man. It looks like he plugged his own ass into the electric current. So amazing. And there's, Mick Harvey, very responsible man. Come on, you drunks, let's play. He's doing his thing. And so there's Nick. He's just he's like 6'9". He's this huge man. His legs are this big around. He's in some skin-tight tuxedo, fucked up thing. He's like, And there's all these goth chicks in love with him, all up front, these fucked up wedding dresses, whatever the fucking these goth chicks are into. And they shouldn't have been so close. He just had this thing for him. He's like, I'm singing, He's going, I love you, Nick. Boom, boom, boom. He's beating him down like a fucking LA cop. Like, wham, wham. These girls like, oh, I love you, boom, I love you, boom, I love you, I love you. And he's relentless. And he's just down there like using these women as like props. Whenever he gets really intense, he's got some poor thing by the hair, and he's powered on Cutty Sark and crystal methamphetamine, so he's stronger than 10 men. And he's got this woman in the air. He's like, when caught, you swing and burn down in swamp land. Totally wet between the legs, just loving him. And so They did 2 sets that night, and I got shoved on the guest list for the second set because they heard that Black Flag was there and they wanted to hang out with us. I'm like, well, I'm gonna see the birthday party. 2 fucking sets, this is the best night of my life. Except for the old ball and chain. Henry, which means, I wanna go home. And I'm so fucking stupid. I went, okay. And I didn't get to see Nick again until 1984 when I saw a really early Bad Seed show. Me and Jim Fetus got on a train and left London and went all the way up to shitty Bristol, England. And we watched the Bad Seeds play in this freezing church in front of like 200 goth people who just kind of stand there like, yeah, right, yeah, Jennifer's Vale. The Moodists open really liked that band. But anyway, so that was interesting. So it was nice to be on a cover with Nick Cave. I can frame it and show it to my kids one day. Bullshit! Guys like me don't have kids. Can't you tell? Can you see me breeding? Do you imagine what that kid would be like? He'd be so fucked. Say it's a boy. By the time he's 15, I'd be dead. He would have killed me already. Because I'd be duct taping him to chairs, making him to listen to Van Halen and shit. If he came home with techno, I'd just make him listen to Nugent, Van Halen, Zeppelin. Listen to this, you little pussy! I hate you! I hate you! Fuck you! Be a man! Ooh. Sabbath Volume 4, you little piece of shit! I hate you! Okay, so like I said, I'm 40, which is such a pain in the ass being how I am and having to be an adult at the same time. Because to me, a lot of aspects of adulthood is just basically slow down and be dead. Become complacent. Stop giving a fuck about anything anymore. And I've watched so many people I know become a certain age and their asses expand and they slow down and their music gets really lame and they start writing songs about their kids. It's so fucking lame. Like Motley Crue, like a band I never really paid all that much attention to, but now like, well, we have a song called Brandon. It's about this kid of ours called Brandon. And that stupid bitch in Oasis, he wrote a song about his kid Lennon. Hello, lock this fucking guy up and please kill him. And so these people, they just hit this And now it's time for me to do that, but I'm not ready. I'm not ready. If you're young and you're really pissed off, no one even looks at you twice. If you're young, you're supposed to be mad. When you're my age and you're mad, people think you're just bitter. And so they totally undercut this beautiful venom and rage that courses through your body and reminds you that you're alive. They go, oh, you're just bitter. You're just a bitter old curmudgeon. You're no fun at all. I'm like, oh. And if you're young and you're really intense, well, fucking A. You're supposed to be young and intense. Those two things go together. But if you're old and intense, everyone goes, my God, you are fucking weird. You are so weird. And if you're young and you have a lot of energy, well, what else would you want to have? You're supposed to be able to survive on a candy bar, a bag of noodles, and a beer once a month on like 20 seconds of sleep a year. You're like a battery that never wears out. If you have a lot of energy at my age, everyone tells you, they go, you have a lot of energy. And it's never the end of the statement. You have a lot of energy for someone your age. I feel like nimble. They go, you're sprightly. You're sprightly. The nimble, sprightly, kind of fragile older man. And so I'm not ready. I'm not ready to go into clothes stores and buy trousers. I still want to buy pants. You see men, they buy trousers. They buy these like huge canvas things that hide the package, that hide the ass, and it doesn't really hide the ass. It just has enough cloth so your ass, your ever-expanding ass, can grow into the pants over the years. 15 years from now, your ass is put on like 7 kilos, but there's still a little bit of room so you won't break them in half when you're picking up your little evil frog spawn off the floor to shake him and take him to soccer practice, you know? And so I'm not ready for that. And so I guess I'm just going to have to be kind of a weird maniac off to the side. And I have no regrets for my youth, and I wouldn't want to be young again for anything. But one thing I've noticed, there's definitely a dynamic shift from boyhood to manhood and girlhood to womanhood. When boys turn into men, you women can attest to this, nothing happens. We just become just bigger pains in the ass boys. And all that kind of random bullshit we kind of waded through as boys are now, like for us, roots of elemental logic. Like you see the 15-year-old, 17-year-old boy at the laundromat trying to stomp 6 loads of clothes into one washer. Saving a little bit of money, saving up for that skateboard. That shit looks so lame when you're 38 and you're standing on top of the washing machine. And guys like this insist that they should get laid. And they go to bars like with this gut. And they're like, hey, fancy a root? Huh? Yeah. And you women get so thoroughly bored, you finally compromise and fuck these guys. What the fuck are you doing? Hold out. I only come here once every year or so, but wait for me. Believe me, baby, I'm worth it. Yeah, right. Yeah, you'll wait. Like, yeah, you'll give me the fucking time of day. You fucking cruel emasculators. Curmudgeon, old guy, you gotta let me slide. I can say all kinds of fuck things. Remember? I'm 80, so you gotta let me go. So I've noticed the shift happen. Women are these amazing creatures who I love, fear, and respect. Girls are cool, but girls to me are just women in waiting. And when girls turn into women, an amazing thing happens. Like overnight at some age, they are uploaded with like 90 gigabytes of hardcore information as to the innermost workings of the male psyche. And you can read us like books. And the days of us bullshitting you to get your clothes off are firmly over. And it really sucks because we don't know any new ways to get your kid off. So we come at you with something that's older than a Steve Miller song. You know? Like, let's go and sit on your bed and talk about feelings. And when you were 17, that shit worked. If we could get you into your room and talk about feelings, then the bra comes off. Yes! And Conan the Barbarian is in again. And you become women and you see through us and you rip men new ones and you make their balls fall right out of their pants. And we come up, hey, you want to hang out with me? And like, sorry, I'm busy, Zorro. Why don't you go hump a couch leg? The balls are gone. They're like, I hate lesbians. You know? And so men are left in this kind of nowhere land in which they are supposed to become mature. And women, I don't know how you do it. Bam, you're a woman and you're just mature. And I've seen the whole dynamic shift now that I'm a man, at least as of age, and I am an adult as far as age goes, but I'm probably just another bullshit old boy with gray hair anyway. In spite of all my attempts to become mature, I've seen an interesting dynamic change. When boy dates girl, there's like this mutual level of this constant bullshit, which kind of makes it kind of exciting and kind of lovable when you look back at it. And there's like the normal night of dating, which ends in the furious coital interaction in the front seat of the piece of shit car. Total duration of the coital act is about 37 seconds, terminating with male ejaculation. An ejaculation so powerful and so heavy that it knocks the female back into her seat. And she's, just reeling from the intensity of this blast. Still steaming, glowing semen is swinging from the ceiling, swinging from the rear view. It's an awesome sight. It's stunning, actually. It's beautiful. And so the guy is passed out for 15 to 30 seconds. It's the post-coital refractory period, where he's kind of the... And he wakes up, and his body involuntarily lunges forward in search of alcohol, beef products, and other men to bond with. He is held back by the seatbelt that he left on. So he's like, and now he's trapped in a vehicle, and he'll have to talk. Like, no! And the girl's looking dreamily out the window, kind of recalling the 47 seconds of fury, and it felt nice. It was nice. And of course, she didn't have an orgasm. But she's new to sex, and she thinks that this is just a temporary situation. She doesn't know that this is basically the way it's going to be when she has sex with a male. And so the bitterness and the disappointment has not set in yet. So she's not angry going, "Where's mine, you little motherfucker? Get to work!" None of that. There's none of that going on yet. So we're still in that, that was nice. And she has a conversation out loud, but it's really to herself, where she's addressing her own future. She looks out the window and she says, "I'm going to have children someday." And the guy's like, huh? "Yeah, I'm going to have kids someday too." And they both know that it's not with that person. So it's this really disembodied conversation. And she's like, "Yeah, I'm going to have children someday. Not with this fucking loser." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to have kids someday, but not with a chick I picked up at a fucking rock concert." And he knows he can wax expansively on the topic of kids, because he knows that it's not going to be with her. And he knows that she's about 50 dicks away from finding Mr. Right Dick to do the thing with, okay? And so years go by, and men and women are now all grown up, and they still date, but the whole dynamic has changed. Now, it's very above board and on the level, and they're in those nice restaurants, hanging out, eating Caesar salad with a piece of grilled tuna or skinless chicken breast on top of the salad, watching our weight, drinking a glass of white wine, and they now are adults, so they're working real jobs, and they've dissolved their personalities into the job, where they now are human embodiments of the job. He sells carpet, she's an accountant.
"Well, I've been selling a lot of shag carpet today. Shag carpet's really selling." "Oh, I put a lot of zeros in rows, and they're all added up." "I'm a boring piece of shit." "I'm boring too." "Someone should have killed me." "Oh, someone would kill me." "Boy, adulthood sure is shitty. We sure are stupid." "Oh, yes." "Kill me now. I'm already dead."
I don't know how I got into the puppet show, but I'm very sorry about that. But anyway, you have been at restaurants and you've heard these conversations from behind you. You're like, do people really talk like that? Oh, you non-adults, you can be sure you'll be saying this bullshit too. Not a few years from now, you'll become your job.
Taxes, cemetery.
And so the whole talk is just this pre-coital conversation, because they are going to go back to one or the other's condominium, have the prerequisite adult hustle sex, and then one will have to leave to go back to the other condominium where they have to get up at 0400 to get ready to go back into the slavery/job. And so they're walking out to the car, and the woman slams her hand down on the man's shoulder and fixes him with that intense gaze that all women have. All women are intense, okay? That is a thoroughly overreaching statement, but I also happen to be right. All women are intense, and it's not a put down. I'm just saying, when you women want to get intense, flick, and you're the scariest, most righteous creatures on earth. If you ever see two women in a fight, it is thoroughly frightening. It is biblical. It is Shakespearean in its intensity. Male violence is just, the prelude to friendship. They get in a fight, they go home with each other's phone numbers, they go out the next weekend and they, I've had 2 weeks, let's go root over there, okay? Women get in fights, they come home with some other chick's ovaries swinging. Look at that! Fucking bitch looked at me. And so all women are intense. That's why I respect them and have a good, healthy dose of fear. So when they go, come here, I'm like, okay, what? I just try to keep them both. And so, anyway, the woman will slap her hand on the man's shoulder and look into his eyes and say, I want to have children. And there's no someday attached to it, it's Friday. And the man, locked in the tractor beam of this woman's gaze, he can't move. He's like a bird hypnotized by a snake. He's like, ugh. And he can see the screaming ovarian time clock in her eyes ticking backwards. Tick, 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 tick. Menstrual period, one left. Tick, 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 tick. And women have no idea how to convey the intensity of their sexual organs to a man and their role in the whole thing. There's no way a man can understand how intense the whole baby thing is for women, because women only have so many times around the track before they turn into Nancy Reagan. Okay, so with every menstrual period, one less apple on the tree of fertility. 30 days, 10, 9. Can you do it? Are you gonna be a mommy or not? Because men's half of the bargain is like Good Time Charlie. It's always accompanied by pleasure, and we got 1,000,000 of our half of the bargain. Whee! Woohoo! Wow! Whee! See you later. Aloha. Arrivederci. UPS. FedEx. Blue Label. See you later. Goodbye. Whoa, that one has a mohawk. That one has a mustache. That one has racing stripes. Whee! And if we run out, you give us a bowl of yogurt and 2 hours to cool down. And we got millions more. Woohoo! We paint our fucking names that shit all over the walls. Well, leave it on your tits and go home. And so, I know. Dig myself in deeper and deeper. Yes, indeed. Don't worry, the bile is leaving. I'm starting to even out now. Did I say that like an hour ago? Anyway. And so the guy has no idea how important this is for the woman. The woman is basically saying, I have chosen you out of a virtual sea of dicks. I want your seed. And that is easily the most intense thing a woman can ever propose to a man. It's you. You are daddy. Do, 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 do. And that's a heavy thing to lay on a guy, because that has a lot of ramifications. If he becomes a dad, good times are over. No more running around with his friends. Now he's going to have to go to airports with all that shit. Have you seen parents at airports? They just become like baby roadies. Like a truckload of gear for a 9-pound thing. Like, who's the rock star? It is this big, it shits itself, and the guy has like hip pack, fanny pack, front pack, backpack, and he's like walking around with like diapers and all this shit, and the woman's like, oh, they have Sherpa guides behind them holding packages. Oh, where are you guys going? We're loading the baby and entourage onto the plane. And I see myself just with my backpack like, didn't get me. I'm still out there. And so the guy has a few different ways in which he can react to this proposition. And usually he does everything wrong. You know, he can say, wow, you and me, parents, right on. This is gonna be great. Yeah, let's do it. And she's like, yay! And they jump up in the air. And that's one way of going about it, but that rarely happens. Usually the guy will duck out and he'll say something like, whoa, what do you have to be so intense for? Let's just go back to your place, watch some cable, fuck, and we'll go home. I hate you shallow man! Or the guy can go, and run. Hence the endless popularity of strip bars and porn videos. And there's all these video places that have that over 18 only corner, you know, for porn videos. And you'll see adult men walking in there just brazenly like, let's see, I haven't watched that one. Clam Queen 5, that's mine, by God. And he walks right up to the counter and just slams it down and locks eyes with the female, you know, employee behind there. That's right, I'm getting anus room. There it is. Yep. And this time I'm gonna rewind it to the top and not like last week when I left it paused 7 seconds after the cum shot. I'm gonna take it all the way back up to the top, okay? I'll see you Sunday when I bring Ass Master 5 back. That's right, I'm renting porno, everyone. That's right, I'm staying free. And he'll walk out of the video place and he'll grab the local weekly, which he has no intention of reading, but he will be spreading it all on the floor in front of the television. And he has the arc, the trajectory, and the splatter radius of the usual Friday night load down pinpointed to where he can just pull little corners of the newspaper out and get every tiny little drop, and not one little drop of his burning seed will be squandered upon a floorboard. And that's like the trauma of adulthood. And it sounds like a horror trip to me, and that's why I'm just not ready to go. And I've been dealing with it, whether what are you gonna do? Not deal with it? This interesting thing happened to me last year, and it's wild. It's a great phenomenon that I got in on the tail end of. Last year, me and the guys in the band, we were touring all over the world, and we came here to your wonderful country and your beautiful city, and we had a rockin' time, and we visited 20, 23 countries, went all over the place, and we had a break between tours. We were home for a few weeks, and I am in a band with 3 Kiss fanatics, okay? 3 major Kiss fanatics. The bass player and the guitar player are kind of intermediate Kiss fans, but the drummer is a 6th degree black belt Kiss fan. You've met those people who's like every day is all about Kiss. Like, so it's Thursday, what are you doing today? Well, what do you think Gene Simmons is doing? Whatever Gene's gonna do, I'm gonna do. And so these guys always know way too much about Kiss. And that's our drummer. You can ask him, you can just make up questions. Like, Jason, what do you think of the differences between all the German 7-inch picture sleeves of Kiss from 74 to 76 when compared to the French picture sleeves of the 7-inch singles of the same year, but the French versions? And he'll wait for like 20 seconds. He's really mulling it over because he definitely has an opinion. Well, actually, that's a good question. I prefer the French sleeves because whereas the Germans use better photos, the French put the tabs of the single underneath the cover sheet. Here, I have them in this drawer. Here, come with me. I carry them with me everywhere I go. I mean, the guy is really intense when you talk about Kiss. He has this theory that he unloaded on us the other day in the studio. He went, one day, all the people who don't like Kiss will die off, and everyone in the world will like Kiss. And he was as serious as a heart attack. And we're just saying, like, Jason, you are the man. He's like, what? It's true. We're like, sure. Sure it is, Jason. You bet. And so anyway, we're between tours, and the boys in the band call me up, and they tell me that Kiss is doing the last ever tour of the world, and they're playing in Southern California, where we live, the night before we leave for another leg of the tour, and they can't get good tickets. All the good tickets are gone, and maybe I can get them tickets. Hey man, can you help us out? Like, maybe you could get us some good tickets? And the naivete of these guys is so heartwarming. They think that I have pull in the music industry. This is so hilarious. Years ago, I reconciled myself to be one of rock and roll's many janitors. You know, I'm there before all the bands. I'm there after all the bands have gone, cleaning up, getting the toilets together for the new visionary multi-platinum artist to come in, cleaning the bowl. When in New York, I go to MTV. Yeah, we'd like you to come down to MTV. Like an idiot, I go to MTV. I'm handed a push broom. And I do all the hallways, I get the toilets scrubbed out, sharpen all the pencils, you know, clean out all the coffee urns, get the green room all gussied up for the Stone Double Pilots to come in. You know, if they need to shit the trash, you know? Well, I'm a fan of those guys, but I'm always like, okay, I'll get it together for you. And so years ago, I knew that I was one of rock and roll's janitors. So I was giving that some thought as of late, because to be 40 and to be a rock and roll janitor is not so cool. So I came up with a whole new angle on the thing, and now I am one of rock and roll's ninjas. It kind of sounds cool, but let me explain. The ninja, as you know, operates by stealth. And so, you know, case in point, I put out records, no one hears them. I make videos, no one sees. Ninja. I go on tour, no one knows. Ninja. I was never here. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. So, and I'm cool with that. Like, there's only, you know, you just have to find a cool way to answer the really humiliating and embarrassing questions I get asked every single day. Hey, did you ever do another record after that one that had that song where you're in the video where you're painted red and jumping up and down? And you can answer that question 3 different ways. You can go, no, I never did another record. I just had my 15 minutes of fame, and I just kind of live in my memories. I sit here at this bar and just become a fat, drunk piece of shit, waiting for people to buy me cans of VB and talk about that video. Or you can go like, have I ever done another record after that one? Fine, you motherfucker! Or you can take the super high road and go, maybe I have, maybe I haven't. Ninja. Yeah, see? So I have to find a way to deal with the pain, the pain. And so I have no pull in the music industry. Remember, it's a Kiss story. Come on, come back with me now. And so maybe the boys in the band think that I can just make a phone call. Hello, Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons? They must live together, right? Yeah, it's Henry. Uh-huh. Yeah, I'd like 12 free tickets to your show. Uh-huh. And no dilly-dallying. Don't make me come over there, you know. And so I have no way to get to the members of Kiss at all. So I said, you want me to get you tickets? Well, man, if there's anything you can do. Like, sure, fellas, I'll give it my best shot. Anything to hang up the phone and go, what the fuck do they think I can do? And so I asked our manager, I go, do you know of anyone we could call up and like buy some Kiss tickets for the guys because they want to see the gig and there's no tickets any closer than 4 miles from the stage? And so he does some calling around, my manager, and he finds out that the only way to get will call tickets or guest list tickets is to go to Gene and Paul personally. They lord over all their own gigs. And I figure, well, we have these snowballs chance in hell now, because I can't get to those guys. And so he does some more phone calling, and like 3 days later, he calls up with very interesting and happy news. And he says, Gene and Paul heard your plea. They also happen to be fans of yours, and they have given you 12 free tickets and 12 all-access backstage passes. Pretty cool. And for me, that was kind of a woo-woo event. I went, woo-woo. What, I'm not going. I don't give a fuck. And so, yeah, I'm going to go see Kiss. Oh, yeah, right. And so I call up the boys with the happy news, and I call up the guitar player and the bass player who live in this hovel down the street from me. I said, fellas, free Kiss tickets, all access backstage passes. And these guys are like the most politest guys you've ever met. They're like, oh, wow, man. Hey, Henry, man, thanks a lot. I'm like, no problem. I had so much to do with it, but I definitely held it as a future chess piece I can use against them later, like when the inevitable litigation comes around. I got 2 Kiss tickets, you sons of bitches. And so anyway, so I call up the drummer. Hey, Jason, free Kiss tickets, all access backstage passes. Boom. All you heard was the body hitting the ground. And so everyone in the band is very happy. And so the gig day is looming. I have no intention of going. It's my last night home before another leg of the tour starts. And I have nothing more in mind to do than lie prostrated on my bed like a beached whale, like the Duchess of York. Just like this bloated thing lying there amidst a sea of cracker crumbs. Picking rapidly wettening Doritos off my ass cheek. Utterly useless night of this pigdom. So that's what I'm gonna do, in my underwear, only getting up to win something on eBay and then going back, feed me more crap. And so anyway, that's gonna be my big Saturday night. Now I've totally confessed as the total loser that I am. Not that you didn't get that from the first moment I walked out here. But anyway, and so I have no intention of going. And the boys in the band have heard that I'm not gonna go. And they call me, hey man, we heard you're not gonna go see Kiss. Why not? And I have to make up this whole excuse. And you know, like when you have that great night of inertness planned, and your friends call, hey man, come out with us. And you have to make up this incredible excuse of all the things you need to do on that night. You never go, I want to lie around in my underwear and do nothing. You can't ever say that. You go, actually, at 7 p.m. I have to nip over to Los Alamos. I'm doing this thing with the Pentagon and NASA. And then I have to get back to LA, go into my garage. I'm working on an atom splitter, and I've got the thing to do a 70-30 split, but this fucking cyclotron is just, it's a pain in the ass, and I want to get a 50-50 split on this atom instead of a 70-30 split before we leave tomorrow for tour, so I'm a little busy. Got some experiments to do with some heavy water and other stuff I'm doing in my garage, so sorry, can't make it. And so I gave the guys all that, and they know that I'm full of shit. They went, yeah, well, anyway, man, listen, we just thought it would be so cool to see Kiss for like the last ever time and rock out with the big guy, man. Have you with us when we see Kiss, and we could all see Kiss together and like rock as one. And no one ever talks to me this way, okay? Oh, they did years ago. Hey man, why don't you come out with us? Fuck you, I live alone. I walk around my room of misery, consolidating my rage and my angst, writing really stupid fucking poetry in a locked out, blacked out room. I cannot go into lit rooms and talk with other people that will make me soft. The role of the artist is to live alone and be pissed off and uncomfortable all the time, to dig deep and rip out the real thing. Keep it real, keep it miserable, jerk off in your shower, keep it real. And so everyone said, oh, what an asshole, and they stopped calling me. And so these boys are like, hey man, you should come with us. I damn nearly wept. I'm like, you want me to go with you? I'm like, yeah man, you should come out with us, man, and rock out. Like, I'll be there. I hung up the phone, I'm like, click, what the fuck have I done? I've just basically married myself to a Kiss gig. Now, I have now said yes, I do not back off on a promise. I promised the boys I'm going to go. The gig is about 70 miles from my house. It is in a town in Southern California that is so hellish, it defies description, but I will try anyway. It is a town called San Bernardino, California. Unbelievably shitty. California is a really tough part of America, believe it or not. Everyone thinks, oh, it's all Van Halen and the Beach Boys and big tits and straight hair and white teeth and little tiny noses. Yes, but there's also Crips and Bloods and all kinds of gangsters and all kinds of blood and violence and police suppression and pollution and illiteracy and poverty, and it's a rough pocket of America. And if you go inland from the Southern California coast, you hit towns like El Monte, Bakersfield. These are rough places. San Bernardino is one of the roughest pockets in America. If you've ever wanted to see like white power crystal methamphetamine dealers who have no fear of incarceration, they've all punched out cops, they've all murdered members of their own family, they beat the shit out of their women and children. These are the men of San Bernardino, complete with tattoos across the neck. Killer Aryan Brotherhood. These guys are so fucking scary. These are guys who, even if you look at them by accident, you have to fight. You walk by them, and all of a sudden you hear, hey, you fucking looking at me? You're like, I saw you, so I was carrying my laundry. You're on the ground. And these are really tough people, and they're all going to be at the Kiss concert. And I know it's kind of a far stretch to try and describe this, but we had a vehicle in America back in the 70s. Maybe you had them too, I don't know. A thing called the El Camino. You may have had it under a different name. It was a small redneck pickup. It looked like the front end was a car and the back end was a pickup. It was about the size of a Cadillac, but it was a pickup truck. And the only people who drove them were violent men. No herbal tea drinking poet ever drove an El Camino. And you drive by like this strip bar / gun and ammo store, and you'd see like 4 El Caminos lined up, and you'd see the men who got out of El Caminos, complete with a tank top shirt, scary homemade prison tattoos, always hyperventilating with rage, and they'd always slam the door like, bam! And they'd always leave a beautiful, platinum blonde woman in the passenger side who would just stare over the dashboard, just like, I'm waiting for my man to come out of the strip bar. I don't dare run. He'll kill me. He drives an El Camino. And then one day in the 70s, poof, all those cars disappeared. You drove all over America. Where have all the El Caminos gone? They're gone. Did the god of cars take them away to El Camino heaven? No. They went west to San Bernardino, where they still rumble down the streets or sit on cinder blocks in front yards. And we had this phenomenon in America back in the days, way back in the days when Aerosmith made records you actually wanted to buy. Long time ago, years ago, quarter century ago. And you'd see these rock and roll vans rumbling by the streets of your town with those silly heavy metal airbrush paint jobs on the side. Usually a huge wizard on top of a mountain holding a crystal ball. I know things because I'm stoned like you. And it's a thing you'd sit there on pot and Quaaludes and stare at the side of a guy's van while Misty Mountain Hop blared out the side. Fucking your van is so rad. Your van is fucking awesome, man. I love the paint job. Oh, it's my van? Oh, I'm fucking stoned. Okay, it was either that or the huge heavy metal guy with the gleaming shin plates, codpiece, chest plate, huge horned helmet, holding his huge saber aloft at angry, spitting, raining sky with lightning bolt arcing with the tip of said saber. And at his knee is a buxom blonde woman hugging his leg, looking up at his nutsack so wantonly. But he has no time for this wanton wench. He must hold his saber aloft and bond with the gods of thunder. And you'd see these vans rolling around, and then one fine day, poof, they were all gone. And they all went to San Bernardino, where they're alive and well. And much to, well, very different than this country's sense of fashion. One fine day around 82, all the mullets disappeared. Oh no, still a hot hairdo in old Australia. There's nothing like going to the airport. You go to the airport, and there's like those airport worker guys, these huge beer belly, big, strong, redneck motherfuckers picking up like a van. Oh, they're picking up a van. They have the most grown-in mullet, like 4-foot tail on this mullet, big cum catcher mustache. This big manly head of mullet do, and they wear pants that come up to here. So what's up with the Australian working man who wears shorts that are so high a ball hangs out? A ball hangs out at least 2/3 of an ass cheek. Yeah, how you going? Let me pick this up. I don't want to see. I'm wearing my shorties and my sunnies. Very interesting. Anyway. One day in America, all the mullets went away, and we all looked around and went, where have all the mullets gone? They went west to San Bernardino, and every single guy has got a mullet. He's on crystal methamphetamine. He's got a gun. He drives an El Camino or a heavy metal van, and they love to murder people for fun. And that's where I am going to see Kiss. And I realize with no doubt in my mind, I am going to be killed. It is the genetic imperative of one of these men to kill me. He's gotta kill me. Why? I don't fit in. And so I know that as the sun is setting, I am now driving to my death. So I load up the car with gasoline and I drive to the Blockbuster Pavilion in San Bernardino to get killed. And so I drive out there, and I link up with the other guys in their vehicles, and we all rumble on to the big earthy, dirt parking lot. This 4 square miles of mud that is the parking lot for the Blockbuster Amphitheater. This big outdoor earthen amphitheater with a band shell at the bottom. So I get out of the car, and I behold the men of the Kiss Army, and there they are, just like I thought they'd be. Skin-tight Kiss shirts covering muscular, fucking tattooed, burned out flesh, cigarette burns in their hands, mullet doos, and these men are standing around conversing with each other in this guttural, really scary stream of ugly monosyllable, like, "Oh my God, is it more cat? Kiss on the go that? Is it more good? That's more." Pulls out a Bowie knife, puts a huge line of crystal meth. I was scared to death. If you ever see the women of weird suburban towns and the supermarkets they go to, like if you leave beautiful Sydney and go for a couple of hours, you'll hit Yaz, the friendly city, population 4 mean motherfuckers. 4 ugly, mean Australian outback dicks. I've had the beautiful, ungood time to end up in Yaz. Pulled into town once like 800 years ago. Can we use your public restroom? Huge cop. Get the fuck out of here. Like, okay, we kept on going. Had to hold it till Adelaide. It sucked. Anyway, you'll see these women who will go, the suburban woman who goes through that 24-hour market. In America, we have the Walmart, this huge 9-football field size 24-hour market with 4-mile-long fluorescent bulbs in the ceiling. So everyone is bathed in this paralyzing fluorescent white glow. And these stores are open all day, all night, 7 days a week. And they have a little bit of everything: ice, charcoal briquettes, hunting gear, lawn furniture, books, magazines. And you'll see this woman lumbering through the aisles of these markets, mulleted, got a little mullet do, either black or peroxide blonde. These lycra shorts that come down to the knee, and the lycra shorts are so tight, they push the oatmeal cellulite flesh down and out. And the kneecap becomes this dark tunnel. amidst this sea of oatmeal, cellulite flesh, and the calves are 40 inches in diameter. And these women are always hugely breasted, and the breasts come out to here, and they wear these muumuus, so there's this curtain of cloth. And every once in a while, they'll reach up to grab something, and the muumuu comes up, and you can see the intense scars, or the Guns N' Roses tattoo over here, and the intense pubic line that goes from the panties all the way up to the belly button. I'm just telling you the shit I see, okay? I'm not passing judgment. I'm just telling you what's going on. So anyway, you'll see these women like, oh, going down the aisles. And they usually have 1 to 3 evil demon troglodyte spawn inside the cart. And the kids show all signs of chromosomal dismay. From the low cranium, the confused, angry look of Down's syndrome, the hare lip, the cleft palate, the occasional gill spread on the neck, the heavy webbing in the hands, the double thumbs, the occasional lobster hand, the ugly primordial tail poking out from filthy diaper. And these kids have usually broken into some of the products inside the carts. They're drinking motor oil and eating tampons and thriving. It's like, and with one furry, warted, tattooed, muscular forearm, this woman is able to haul off and smack all 3 troglodytes while she screams, "I thought I told you to shut up!" And the kids have had their little craniums dashed in so often, it doesn't even register. Like, these are the women of the Kiss Army. Right. So, I come out of the car, I see these men. And they're holding on to their women. And they're always holding on to their women. And they rock back and forth and converse with other mulleted men. And they hold on to their little troglodytes. They don't want their troglodytes to get away lest they run off and get drawn and quartered or raped in the bushes. And so the men have their arms crossed over these huge bosomed, 4 foot high, 4 foot wide troglodyte women. And like, and they have in one hand like a joint or a cigarette, and in this hand something to drink or a knife. And so their arms look like this like coat of arms for rock and roll. And they're like, now, as you well know from the National Geographic documentary that many of you saw, these people breed, okay? And usually in the American spring, March, April, the woman will stagger forth from the trailer home into the woods in search of either a nest of sphagnum moss or peat moss, both renowned for their levels of tannic acid, which has a purifying effect on eggs and larvae. And anyway, the woman, if you haven't seen the documentary, I'll walk you through this, because I learned it myself on TV the other night. But anyway, the woman will walk out and find a suitable piece of sphagnum moss or peat moss, spread her legs a little wider than hip width, and hold onto a tree branch for stability. And with much concerted effort will emit from her calloused, furry thighs a large, leathery egg sac that hits the ground with resulting afterbirth and other effluvia, which he will hold on to and take back and use for the evening meal, which he stirs in and cooks. I guess you didn't see the show. Okay. I'm kind of copping. I mean, I saw this and I'm kind of reiterating, so it's kind of fake material. I'm kind of reiterating what I already saw on National Geographic, but I don't want you to miss out on anything. And so she brings it back to the trailer home. She mixes it in with the hamburger meat, and the husband will ingest this, which gives him the power and the strength for the evening beating. And so anyway, she leaves the egg sac and goes back home for the meal and the beating. And inside the egg sac is 150 to 200 embryos. And the only sustenance they have inside this primordial sac is each other. And so the dominant ones will start attacking the other ones and eating them for food. And the gestation period for this egg sac and the people within, the future reptilian spawn, is 31 to 34 days, depending on level of rainfall in that part of the world. And so around 31 to 34 days, there's usually about 5 to 6 embryos left, and they're battling it out. And the lead one, the biggest one, will utilize his reptilian egg tooth, which doesn't shear off until the age of like 34, 35. And they can rip through the leathery egg sac, pull the flaps open, and get their first breath of real air. And they crawl out and they lay in wait for the other embryo to come crawling out. And they attack and fight. And usually out of 200 little embryo, 1 to 3 troglodytes will survive. And through a tracking mechanism that scientists have not been able to figure out, they can get back to the trailer home from where they were, conceived. And so these are the children of the Kiss Army. And so the parents have brought these little evil reptilian hellspawn to the show. And they have little mullets, and they came out of the sack with dad's tattoos already on them, veins already full of blood that has, high levels of crystal methamphetamine and wild turkey. And they have killer all across the neck, little teardrops on the cheek. And they have little Bowie knives. They're stabbing each other and doing lines of crystal meth and raping each other in the bushes. And they all have been dolled up to look like Kiss. So you have these little, tiny, murderous, homicidal, stoned Kiss clones this high. And they're like, and you have the women at 4 feet high, and the men at 6'4". Oh my God, Paul Stanley, oh God. Utterly terrifying to see this incredibly coarse bolt of the American lowest common denominator. Okay? That's why I do not ever fear invasion upon my shores, because there's hundreds of thousands of men like this who will just be ready. Oh, that guy's a fire! Any invading force will go, holy shit, fuck this! They'll run away. And so anyway, the men are standing there holding on to their women, occasionally pulling their arms away to have a Breck moment with their hair. And it's so fun to see macho men with such a non-maintenance free do. The mullet takes constant maintenance. So you'll see big, tough, tattooed men with a mullet, and they're killing another guy. Really effeminate gestures with their hands, having that Breck moment, little timeout. And so anyway, there they are, standing next to vans and El Caminos, all emitting Kiss at ear-splitting volume. And there's me, walking through them, staring at the ground so none of them notice me. Tiptoe through the mutants. And I'm trying to get through them, and from behind me I hear, hey! Doesn't mean anything to me. Keep moving. Survive. Just survive. Keep moving. Hey, Henry! A lot of people name Henry. It's not a common name like a Michael or a Peter or a Thomas, but you hear it every once in a while. Keep moving. Keep moving. Hey, Henry Rollins! Fuck it, I'm just in denial now. Didn't hear you, didn't hear you, didn't hear you. A huge hand slams down on my shoulder, spins me around. I look up into the eyes of the mullet man. And then I am accused. You're Henry Rollins! I am lifted up into the air and shook until my eyes nearly come out of my head. I love your shit! Bam, bam, bam. And then the guy proceeds to tell me what every album I've ever done has done for him. 1987, man, you put out Hot Animal Machine, man. I killed my dad to that record, man. Thank you so much, man. And I got locked up in jail for, 11 minutes. And then I came out again, man. And you put out the Lifetime album, man. I murdered the rest of my family with that record. You, Gene, and Paul are like the most meaningful rock and rollers in my life. I fucking love you, man. I am lifted up by my head. Hey, look, everybody. It's Henry Rollins. Men are throwing their troglodytes to the side. Ooh, I love your shit. You want to rape my woman? No thanks, trying to cut down. Okay, good to meet you, good to meet you, good to meet you, good to meet you, good to meet you. And I'm meeting all these troglodytes and all these, hellish, intense Kiss people. And you know something? Sure, they're a bunch of mutants, but now they're my mutants. By God. And I defy you to not like someone who likes you. How can you do it? I hate your guts. I like you. Fuck. Well, I dislike you very much. I like you. You know, one drop of love really screws up a big old vat of hate. So anyway, I'm meeting these guys, and they're so cool. Man, I'm here to fucking rock out with Kiss, man. Why are you here? Yeah, like you said, Kiss. Fucking right on, man. Woo! And these people are just so cool. I'm like, okay, and it's like this, shaking their hands, my shoulders getting ripped out of socket. So anyway, I wend my way through the mutants, and now I am standing in a long line. And at the end of the long line, there's a huge sign on this wall that says, stand in this line for Kiss guest list and will call tickets. So I'm standing in line to get these tickets. I'm standing there behind this huge mulleted man who's always getting his mullet together. It's like standing behind a nervous horse. And the guy turns around and sees me. He's like, hey man, you're Henry Rollins. Yeah. Huh. Here to see Kiss? What do you do with a question like that? You know, I'll tell you what I should have said, and then I'll tell you what I said instead. What I should have said was like, yeah, man, I'm here to see Kiss. Oh, right on, man, cool. That would have been the end of it. But instead of that, I went, am I here to see Kiss? Am I standing in a line with a sign at the end that says, stand in this line for Kiss tickets, will call / guest list? No, I'm not here to see Kiss, sir. Actually, I left my home in Hollywood and drove 70 miles out to this hellish place called the Blockbuster Pavilion here in beautiful San Bernardino, just so I could walk the grounds of the Blockbuster Pavilion and step over steaming piles of vomit to stand in a long, slow, seemingly unmoving line so I could converse with rocket scientists like yourself. Yes, only kidding there, Einstein. Yes, I am indeed here to see Kiss. Okay, there's some people you can say that to, and they'll go, all right, you're kind of a dick, but I kind of deserved it, very funny. And then there's some people you say something like that to, and all they want to do is beat the hell out of you. There's some guys you just can't kid around with, and that's the guy I was talking shit to. And you know you're going to get in a fight with a man when you see the man's head start bobbing. They get into that shit. And they look around like... And they start walking back and forth. And then you know that you really got them going when the arms fly out to the side. And then they become somehow, and now that they're mad, they become concerned as to your health. You got a fucking problem? That's what this guy's doing with me. Other men in the line, some primordial instinct is awakened, and they don't even see movement. They just sense movement somewhere in the line, and their heads start bobbing. 30 men start bobbing their mullets as one, like they're listening to the same song. I'm angry. Am I mad at you, dude? I don't know, dude. Uh-oh. I'm mad at something. 30 men ahead of me like, what's your problem? I don't know. What's your problem? What's your problem? You got a problem? I don't know. You got a problem? And they go like, what's going on? They turn around and they see the guy who's really going, standing across from the guy who's doing this. That would be me. And so now I have a semicircle of mulleted men. What's the matter, you rock star dick? You can't answer a question? What's your problem? I have two choices. I can either fight and die, or I can employ a little bit of psychology and see if I can calm down this angry bunch of rockers. Men, we all like Kiss, and we all love standing in line. So let's all get back in line. We like the line, the line, the line. The line implies order. The line has stability. The line does not make us have to think. We like the line, the line. The line will lead us to Kiss. The line will take us to Kiss. The line. Get in line. Get in line. And the heads are, yeah, lines are good. Yes. This is a real good one. Real long and slow moving. Yeah, I'm gonna get in line. Good. Right over here, okay. Same guy gets right ahead of me. Minute goes by, turns around. Hey man, you're Henry Rollins. Yep.
Huh, here to see Kiss?
You bet.
Cool.
And so anyway, get to the line, get the tickets to the laminates, and we go up to the gate, and the huge man, pats us down like, all right, no bombs, you can go in. And I go up to an usher with my ticket. I go, sir, here's my ticket. Please show me where to sit down. And I'm thinking he's going to say, oh my God, you should have got here at noon. You have a 4-mile walk. Do you see where the top of that field is touching the clouds? You will go there. It is there you will meet the Sherpa guides who will take you to the top of the Misty Mountain. Here, you'll need these. Take these, these tablets for, sickness from altitude. Now, go. And if you're lucky, if you run now, you might be able to see the last song. Go, son, go. But instead, he looks at the tickets and he goes, wow. He's very impressed. Come with me. And he personally escorts us down through all this security where we have to show our laminates. And we're like, ooh. Gene and Paul have been very good to us. We are led to seats about 15 rows from the stage, dead center. We have like the best seats in the house, thanks to Gene and Paul. I was very impressed by the generosity of KISS. The band members are like looking at the stage, looking at their tickets. Jason, the drummer, is just looking up. Thank you. But dig it, it's the last time he's ever gonna see KISS. He is on the band's guest list, he has a laminate around his neck, and he's so close to the stage, his face is gonna get burned off. He is such a happy guy. So anyway, we're standing, in our places, looking at the stage. The opening band